early days of space exploration were marked by groundbreaking achievements, from historic moon landings to awe-inspiring spacewalks. These iconic NASA images capture the spirit of an era when humanity took its first steps beyond Earth. NASA's origins can be traced back to the Cold War, a time when technological dominance was as much a battlefield as any other. The launch of Sputnik in 1957 by the Soviet Union sent shockwaves through the United States, prompting a swift response. Determined to assert leadership in space, American officials recognized the need for a dedicated agency to propel the nation forward. In 1958, President Dwight D. Eisenhower signed the National Aeronautics and Space Act, officially establishing NASA. This new agency was tasked with closing the gap between the U.S. and its Soviet counterparts, igniting what became known as the space race. Over the next decade, NASA embarked on a series of ambitious programs: Mercury, Gemini, and Apollo, each designed to push the limits of space exploration. The Mercury program focused on achieving human spaceflight, successfully sending American astronauts into orbit. Gemini followed, allowing crews to practice crucial maneuvers, conduct spacewalks, and refine the technology needed for lunar missions. These efforts culminated in the Apollo program, which turned the dream of reaching the moon into reality. The pinnacle of this era came on July 20th, 1969, when Neil Armstrong and Buzz Aldrin became the first humans to set foot on the moon, a moment that forever changed history. The years that followed built on that triumph, with NASA continuing to push the boundaries of human spaceflight. In 1961, President John F. Kennedy delivered a landmark address to Congress, outlining an ambitious vision for America's space program. He declared, "I believe that this nation should commit itself to achieving the goal, before this decade is out, of landing a man on the moon and returning him safely to Earth." The following year, in 1962, NASA established the Launch Operations Center to prepare for the complex lunar missions ahead. Following Kennedy's tragic assassination in 1963, the facility was renamed the John F. Kennedy Space Center in his honor. By 1965, NASA had transitioned from the single-astronaut Mercury missions to Project Gemini, named after the constellation representing twins. The Gemini program featured two-person crews and achieved significant milestones over its 10 crewed flights. Among its accomplishments were the first American spacewalk during Gemini 4 and Gemini 11's record-setting altitude, which remains one of NASA's highest flights. The Apollo program, however, is best remembered for its historic lunar landings. Apollo 11, in particular, marked humanity's first steps beyond Earth's orbit when Neil Armstrong famously described his descent onto the moon as a small step for man, one giant leap for mankind in 1969. This mission paved the way for 5 more lunar landings, with a total of 12 astronauts walking on the moon by the program's conclusion. Despite these triumphs, the final crewed moon mission, Apollo 17, occurred in December 1972. Since then, no humans have ventured beyond low Earth orbit, leaving the Apollo era as a defining chapter in space exploration history, one that continues to inspire efforts to return to the moon and venture even further into the cosmos. Photo credit: NASA Wikimedia Commons/upscaled by our HP. Please subscribe this channel.